The early reactions tell you a lot already, but diving deeper, the most fascinating piece of this new-look Nugget squad is Cam Johnson. He's easily the biggest swing factor for Denver this season. Why? Because last year in Brooklyn, we saw him shoulder a heavy role and prove he could handle more responsibility. Now, in Denver, he'll still carry a major role, but the context is entirely different. He finally gets to play alongside the most talented group of teammates he's ever had, inside a system built to maximize his strengths. People like to compare his numbers to Michael Porter Jr., and on paper there are similarities. But the separation lies in Cam's versatility. Beyond the mental sharpness, which is no small thing, he's a better playmaker. When defenders chase him off the line, he's comfortable putting the ball on the deck, creating offense, and forcing defenses to adjust. He's not just a catch-and-shoot threat. Yes, he'll knock down threes at a high clip, but his game expands far beyond standing in the corner waiting for passes. Another player who fits a similar mold is Tim Hardaway Jr. The Nuggets signed him mainly for shooting, but his game isn't one-dimensional. He can attack closeouts, step into pull-up mid-range shots, and make secondary plays. Last season, he started 77 games for Detroit, a team that surprisingly finished 6th in the East. He's streaky, sure, but Denver doesn't need him to be a superstar. Just a steady, veteran presence off the bench, something the team sorely lacked last year. Together, Hardaway Jr. and Jonas Valanciunas are going to soak up valuable minutes across the season, giving Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Braun, and the rest of Denver's core a chance to stay fresh for the playoffs. That's the detail that matters most. Maybe their postseason impact won't be massive, that's debatable. But their contributions during the grind of the regular season? That's undeniable, and both have shown for years they can help teams win games. And then comes the real headline, Bruce Brown's return. This is the guy who had the best season of his career in Denver, played a crucial role in their championship run, cashed in with a big contract elsewhere, and now circles back on a team-friendly deal. His fit with Jokic is seamless, cutting at the right moments, thriving in transition, defending multiple positions, and bringing that unique Swiss Army knife energy. Honestly, there's no better roster in the league for him to thrive than this one. Forget the other new signings for a moment. Hardaway Jr. and Valanciunas are solid additions, but Bruce Brown is the needle mover. He's still in his prime, and just 2 seasons ago he was arguably the Nuggets' 5th or 6th best player during a title run. Landing him on a minimum deal is nothing short of a heist. The beauty of this roster now is Denver doesn't have to lean heavily on their youngest players, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, and rookie Darren Holmes. That doesn't mean those guys are worthless. Quite the opposite. They're talented, they just weren't ready to be thrown into the highest pressure situations last year. Forced into outsized roles, they had predictable ups and downs. But with veterans now ahead of them, they can develop at a natural pace and still contribute to winning basketball in the regular season, maybe even in the playoffs. And speaking of Holmes, he's one of the most exciting prospects Denver has. In fact, I've broken down his game in detail in another piece because he has the tools to make an impact right away. If you want to dive into that, make sure you're subscribed for more. At the end of the day, Denver enters this season deeper, more balanced, and far better prepared to keep Jokic fresh when it matters most. The Denver Nuggets posted an offensive rating of 127.1, a defensive rating of 116.6, and a net rating of plus 10.5 last season. Put simply, whenever Nikola Jokic was on the floor, Denver looked like one of the greatest teams ever assembled. The moment he sat down, though, things got shaky, a pattern we've seen for years. No matter how the roster changed, the same truth stayed constant. As soon as Jokic went to the bench, the Nuggets' lead almost always evaporated, or at best, got chopped in half. This season, however, might finally be different. After moving on from Calvin Booth and Michael Malone late last year, Denver admitted the obvious. This team could be truly special if Jokic had real support behind him. They nearly went the distance against Oklahoma City in the playoffs without any bench help, and now, with actual reinforcements, the rest of the league should be nervous. Enter Jonas Valanciunas, who nearly slipped away before the trade was finalized. As it stands, though, he's officially a Nugget, and easily the best backup center of the Jokic era. Unless, of course, You count the hilarious stretch when Jokic himself was coming off the bench behind Jusuf Nurkic. For those who've watched the NBA in the past decade, you already know what Valanciunas brings. Brute strength, toughness on the glass, and a surprisingly soft scoring touch in the paint. He isn't an elite rim protector, but his sheer size alone makes him a major upgrade over Dario Ari. On top of that, his passing is criminally underrated. Plays like his mid-air adjustment to feed Domantas Sabonis or a quick bounce pass to a cutter show how he punishes defenses once they collapse on him in the post. Unlike Ari, Valanciunas commands real defensive attention, which forces teams to pick their poison, leave him one-on-one to bulldoze to the rim, or send help and risk him finding an open teammate. Even assistant coach David Adelman couldn't hide his excitement. You can play through him. He can score against small lineups, he's strong in dribble handoffs, and his someone our guards can run a fence through. And here's the kicker. Denver didn't have to attach a single asset to flip Ari for a player who scores double, rebounds more, protects the paint better, and gives the Nuggets a genuine low-post scoring option. Remember, they were running DeAndre Jordan out there in the 2025 playoffs. Anything Valanciunas provides in 10 to 20 minutes a night will be a massive relief. Consider this. Last season, Nikola Jokic was 5th in the league in minutes per game. The next closest center, Karl-Anthony Towns, at 25th. Even Thibodeau-style workloads couldn't match Denver's dependence on Jokic. Things had gotten so extreme that fans actually started pushing a wild theory that the Nuggets intentionally signed awful backups just to inflate Jokic's on-off numbers for MVP campaigns. Sounds ridiculous, but that's how glaring the issue was. But Denver's summer wasn't just about Valanciunas. It was about one thing: shooting. Lots of shooting. And if you want proof of how thrilled these shooters are to play with Jokic, just look at their reactions in interviews. The grin on their faces says it all. They know their lives are about